Southwest Airlines is the world's largest low-cost carrier and the third largest airline in the U.S. It's also the only one among its ranking neighbors that allows you to book its tickets only on its official website. This year, Southwest changed that by finally putting their content on all three major global distribution systems. For years, Southwest stuck out like a sore thumb on the flight distribution market. It hunted down every OTA or metasearch site that provided its schedule or pricing information, filing lawsuits against Orbitz and TripIt amongst the rest. But such isolation had its problems. The airline couldn't reach its full potential of corporate travel sales without connecting to third parties. Business travel managers usually do their business via GDSs, where they have exclusive agreements with different carriers. For them, having to go to the separate Southwest platform just didn't cut it. Considering that business passengers account for a whopping 75% of an airline's profit, the decision to meet them halfway is long overdue. Before the COVID-19 crisis, Southwest expected to derive around $20 million of additional revenue in 2020 alone. Why does the industry depend so much on global distribution systems? What exactly is their role, and how are they different from each other? How Amadeus, Sabre, and Travelport dominate travel distribution. GDSs are the key players on the travel distribution scene. They connect providers with end customers, and they are the main inventory suppliers for online and offline travel agencies, independent agents, and business travel managers. There are a dozen GDSs in the world, but 98% of the market is shared between the big three: Sabre, Amadeus, and Travelport, companies with different histories, geographic coverage, and technical capabilities. In the travel business, direct sales are paramount. There are no commissions to pay, and you control the relationship you have with a customer. But for airlines, building these relationships is next to impossible. When they send the inventory data to a GDS, they technically lose control over how this data is displayed. And also, they lose some ancillary sales they could have made on a native website. That's the reason Southwest dragged on the GDS connection. But why do you even need a third party to sell an airline's tickets? Well, mostly because of the history. American Airlines built Sabre in 1964 to give travel agents access to their price and availability data. It wasn't a GDS back then because, well, it wasn't global. Other carriers quickly caught on, and when the flight industry was deregulated a decade later, they decided to team up and provide their data via a combined interface. That's how Sabre became global. Today, GDSs aggregate information on more than flights. They cover hotel accommodations, car rental options, rail and ferry tickets, and so on. But only flights are distributed there exclusively. A hotel can post their listings directly on Expedia. Your small OTA can connect to Amtrak via ready-to-use tools. Airlines don't have the same luxury. Same with the companies that want to sell flights. Okay, that's clear now, but what GDS should you go for? What's the best pick? It depends, so let's get to know three core GDSs. First, Sabre, Amadeus, and Travelport have different market shares. When a travel agency considers what GDS to use, they first look at their inventory size and geography. It makes sense. If you want to sell flights to Japan, you want to have access to the most airlines in the region. Sabre is an American-born system, so it has the strongest presence in the US. It also owns Abacus, the biggest Asian GDS. So, a big chunk of that inventory is also available on Sabre. Overall, this is around 420 airlines, about 1 million hotel properties, and a few dozen car rental, cruise, and railway companies. This is around 35% of the world's travel distribution. Amadeus is the largest, with 40% of market share. It was founded in the 80s as the European alternative to Sabre and retains its focus on Europe today. It gives access to around 490 airlines. For comparison, in the whole world, there are around 800 commercial airlines. Amadeus also has data on 770,000 hotel properties, and of course, car rentals, cruises, and railways. Travelport is the youngest of the big players, formed in 2001 around Apollo, Galileo, and WorldSpan GDSs. Travelport is the smallest, but it's growing rapidly in the developing markets like India, Latin America, and Asia Pacific. One of the main things GDS clients want to know about are the APIs. APIs dictate what types of data you'll be able to request and receive from the source. It's a tool set to make a booking website content rich. For example, Sabre has more than 370 APIs that let you add travel info and functionality to the website, like availability and price search or ticketing. Amadeus has APIs for testing called self-service. They are very handy when you're just building your booking engine and don't want to commit. If you do, get enterprise APIs, hundreds of them for searching, ticketing, managing payments, and so on. Travelport has one universal API. It's simple. You don't have to browse through the catalog wondering what API you might want to get. We've already explained the role of APIs in travel data exchange in a previous video. In travel businesses, APIs are usually integrated by software developers, and then agents can send requests using the established exchange channels. Remember how we said that airlines lose ancillary sales when distributing via GDSs? In 2011, IATA offered a solution, a standard called New Distribution Capability that was supposed to finally dismiss GDSs from their position of main distributors. With NDC, airlines don't have to play by GDS's rules, but rather create their own distribution policies and go directly to OTAs with them. Lufthansa was the first to make the radical change. They shipped their own NDC solution and paid travel agencies €1 per booking for using it. At the same time, they penalized GDSs €16 per booking. But Lufthansa is one of the largest and most influential carriers in the world. Most airlines can't dictate their terms to OTAs and have to remain with GDSs. The thing is, GDSs soon caught up to the trend and built their own NDC solutions. Sabre has a retailing platform between an airline's PSS and a GDS itself. There, carriers can finally determine how much of their info will be displayed and get access to customer data. From the other side, travel agencies received an update to the usual terminal that lets them see the NDC-enabled content. Amadeus's solution is similar. If an airline is already using a PSS from Amadeus, NDC features come out of the box. If distributors want to offer NDC content, they need to use the Amadeus travel platform, which can be accessed via usual API channels. Travelport is a bit different. First, to use its NDC program, a carrier must be NDC certified as well, basically designing their own NDC features, as Lufthansa did. For aggregators, this capability is available via an API. You've probably already figured out that GDSs are the industry mammoths, both age and size-wise. So, like any business of such caliber, sometimes they are not easily accessible. This includes things like retro-style terminals and a long acceptance process. Let's see how travel agencies can apply for GDS acceptance. Step 1. Apply for IATA or ARC certification. In a dedicated video, we talked a lot about IATA and why it's important. ARC is its American counterpart in terms of connecting agents and airlines. IATA and ARC provide a travel agent designator and access to around 290 airlines rates available via GDSs. Step 2. Pass the training. That's understandable since GDS terminals are usually not user-friendly. Besides, being a terminal operator is more about formulating successful queries than learning what different buttons do. Even if you don't plan to work through terminals, passing the training is obligatory. Step 3. Sign a contract. GDSs take applications individually, meaning there's no form to fill out that will get you directly to the software. Prepare a report about your business, its past or expected revenue, and then wait for the response. If you do get approved, there's step 4, the most important one. The GDS environment by itself is useless. It's just a marketplace of rates that your customers can get on any other website. What you need is a few unique agreements with your key suppliers. Go directly to them, negotiate profitable conditions, and prepare to sell. The NDC example shows one very important thing. GDSs are not going anywhere. Even at the times when they seem to be an obstacle for progress, travel, and especially flight distribution, relies on it like nothing else. Besides, Sabre, Amadeus, and Travelport are more than GDSs. They are also the leaders in travel software. Apart from the aforementioned PSSs, they offer tools for hospitality brands, travel agencies, airports, and other businesses in the travel segment. They are simply needed. GDSs exist as long as distribution itself. Will something change that? For now, there's no sign suggesting that it could.